All jurors are indifferent.
Okay, very good. Everyone have a seat. All right, it is my understanding that the jury has reached their verdict. Is that correct? Okay, I would ask the foreperson of the jury to please hand the verdict forms to the bailiff. Okay, Madam Clerk, please publish the verdicts and do not read the name of the foreperson, okay?
Yes.
For the record, it's Juror 157, initials CS. All right.
State of Florida versus Isaiah Jermaine Chance, case number 24 CF 11996A, Trial Division 1, verdict form. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 1, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder as charged. Did the state of Florida prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of a criminal gang? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 2, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder as charged. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of a criminal gang? Yes. So say we all, dated this 8th day of May. Foreperson of the jury, juror number 157, CS. State of Florida versus Sean Andre Gathright, case number 24 CF 11996C, Trial Division 1, verdict form. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 1, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder as charged. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, the defendant actually possessed a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 2, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder as charged. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 3, victim Xavier Edwards. The defendant is guilty of attempted second-degree murder, a lesser-included offense. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 4, Gino Norris. The defendant is guilty of attempted second-degree murder, a lesser-included offense. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 5, victim Camilla Bentley. The defendant is guilty of attempted second-degree murder, a lesser-included offense. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally possess a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 6. The defendant is guilty of tampering with physical evidence as charged. So say we all dated this 8th day of May, 2026, juror number 157, CS, foreperson of the jury. State of Florida versus Rashad Murphy, case number 24 CF 11996D, Trial Division 1, verdict form. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 1, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder as charged. During the commission of the offense, the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of a criminal gang? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 2, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder as charged. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of a criminal gang? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 3, victim Xavier Edwards. The defendant is guilty of attempted second-degree murder, a lesser-included offense. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of a criminal gang? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 4, victim Gino Norris. The defendant is guilty of attempted second-degree murder, a lesser-included offense. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of a criminal gang? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 5, victim Camilla Bentley. The defendant is guilty of attempted second-degree murder, a lesser-included offense. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of a criminal gang? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. So say we all dated this 8th day of May 2026, juror number 157, CS, foreperson of the jury. And the state of Florida versus Davion Rashad Murphy, case number 24 CF 11996E, Trial Division 1, verdict form. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 1, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder as charged. During During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of a criminal gang? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 2, victim Charles Jones, the defendant of conspiracy to commit murder, first degree, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder as charged. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of a criminal gang? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 3, victim Xavier Edwards, the defendant is guilty of attempted second-degree murder, a lesser included offense. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of the criminal gang? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 4, victim Gino Norris, the defendant is guilty of attempted second-degree murder, a lesser included offense. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interests of the criminal gang? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 5, victim Camilla Bentley, the defendant is guilty of attempted second-degree murder, a lesser included offense. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten to use, or attempt to use a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant was a member or an associate of a criminal gang during the commission of the offense? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt the defendant committed the crime for the purpose of benefiting, promoting, or furthering the interest of a criminal gang? Yes. During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes. And during the commission of an offense, did the defendant actually discharge a firearm? Yes. So say we all, dated this 8th day of May, 2026, jury number 157, CS for person of the jury.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right.
State your name,
Noah Riley,
and could you spell your last name, please, for the court reporter?
Reilly.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm an associate medical examiner for Hillsborough County.
Okay. And how long have you held that position?
For about 4 years.
All right. Could you, as an associate medical examiner, do you practice in a field of medicine commonly called forensic pathology?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jurors your educational history, first of all, as it relates to that?
I have a bachelor's in microbiology from Arizona State University. I went to medical school at the Western University of Health Sciences. I did a anatomical pathology residency. That was 4 years. And then I did another fellowship, a 1-year fellowship in cardiovascular pathology, and then finally a fellowship in forensic pathology.
And where was that at?
The Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences in Houston, Texas.
Okay. Doctor, do you hold any board certifications?
Yes, I'm board certified in anatomical pathology and forensic pathology.
And are you licensed to practice medicine here in the state of Florida?
I am.
Doctor, how many autopsy examinations have you completed in your career?
A little under 1,000.
Have you previously testified as an expert in the area of forensic pathology?
Yes,
Approximately how many times?
10 times.
Can you explain to the jury what the specialty of medicine known as forensic pathology, what that deals with?
Yes, so a forensic pathologist is a physician that's trained in anatomical pathology, which is the study of human disease. A forensic pathologist is a subspecialty of that, which looks for the cause and manner of death, whether that's natural disease or trauma.
And is that one of your main roles at the medical examiner's office?
Yes,
Now, in this case, did the medical examiner's office receive notification from the Tampa Police Department concerning a homicide that occurred on June 23rd of 2024?
yes,
And pursuant to that notification, did you in fact respond to that scene?
I did.
And can you tell the jurors where the medical examiner's office is located here in Hillsborough County?
It's near the University of South Florida.
Is it across Fowler, south of Fowler?
Yes,
Okay. And did it end up only being a short distance from there to the crime scene?
yeah, I could walk there.
And when you responded, did any of your forensic investigators respond with you or show up at a later time?
Yes,
When you arrived at the scene, was the scene already established as a crime scene? Were there law enforcement present?
yes,
And when you arrived in the scene, was the decedent's body still there?
yes,
Did you view the decedent's body as it lay in the crime scene?
yes,
And in fact, was it in a motor vehicle?
it was.
And did you note its position, especially relative to the other portions of the interior of the motor vehicle?
I did.
At some point, was Mr. Jones' body removed from that motor vehicle?
Yes,
And would that have been done once you arrived and once you were there?
yes,
And did you manipulate the body in any way, checking it or examining it, just doing a summary examination there at the scene?
I did.
Is that common practice in forensic pathology?
Yes,
Is going to crime scenes, is that also a common and accepted practice in forensic pathology?
we usually don't go to scenes, but because of the proximity to the office, I did.
Did you also take account of the circumstances around the victim's body?
Yes,
Did you note damage to the motor vehicle?
I did.
Did it appear to involve bullet holes and gunfire damage to the motor vehicle?
It did.
When you were there at the scene, once Mr. Jones' body was removed, could you explain to the jurors when it's being removed, is it placed onto something or where is it removed to there at the scene?
It's placed on a white bed sheet, basically, and then after I examine it, we put it in a body bag, and a private transport service transports it to our office.
Is that a service that contracts with the MEO?
Yes,
Okay. And when I say MEO, Medical Examiner's Office?
yes.
Okay. So during your cursory examination of Mr. Jones' body on that sheet or in the scene, did you note what appeared to be gunshot wounds to his person?
I did.
After being transported to the medical examiner's office, well, let me back up. When a decedent is brought to the medical examiner's office from a crime scene like this, with a suggestion of homicide being the manner, is a unique, specific file number assigned to that decedent's case?
All decedents are given a unique case number.
All decedents. That would include people who die from suicide, natural causes that are brought unattended, natural causes, or accidents,
Yes,
like motor vehicle accidents?
correct.
Okay. And I'll come back to manner of death and let you explain that to the jury. Did you end up performing an autopsy on him?
I did.
Before the autopsy examination, when the body is first brought in, is it weighed and measured?
It is.
Do you recall the measurements for Mr. Jones?
I believe he was 6'2", and 135 pounds.
Okay. Yes, that's accurate. Just checking your report. And in fact, after you complete your examination, do you prepare a report of your findings in this case?
I do.
And is that a report of diagnosis and autopsy?
Yes.
Is the body x-rayed in a circumstance like this?
Yes, when the body first comes to the medical examiners, the body is given an x-ray before we open the body bag.
Oh, before you open the body bag.
Correct.
And why is that?
For any kind of evidentiary evidence that might be in the body bag.
And in this case, did you, in fact, when the body bag was opened, was there some piece of evidence or pieces of evidence that were located?
Yes, there was a bullet found within the body bag and a bullet fragment within his sock.
An autopsy examination, does that involve an external and an internal component?
It does.
Did you conduct an external examination of Charles Jones' body?
I did.
During the process from the external examination moving forward, is the process of the autopsy documented photographically?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state of Florida would tender State's Exhibit 32A as in alpha through triple W, W as in whiskey, for admission.
Any objection, Mr. Gonzalez?
No objection.
Mr. Sonardi?
No objection.
Mr. Wise?
No objection.
Mr. Petridis?
No objection.
Admitted.
Have you had a very brief chance to review some of the state's exhibits?
Yes.
Would the photographs assist you in giving your opinions in this case?
Yes.
In the external examination, can you explain what you're doing during that process, that part of the autopsy?
Yes, I'm doing a head-to-toe examination of everything externally and documenting any signs of natural disease or trauma.
Do you take note of wounds that you may locate or find?
Yes.
I don't know if I asked you this previously. You've told us approximately how many autopsies you've conducted in your career?
Yes.
All right. How many have you done, from your memory, an approximation that dealt with gunshot wounds?
If you include suicides, I would say around 200.
In your examination of the body in this case, Mr. Jones' case, did you then move on after your external examination to an internal examination?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury what you do during the internal examination?
So we open up the body with a Y incision, and then we resect out all the organs, and we look for any kind of natural disease or trauma. In this case, wound tracks from the gunshot wounds.
And when you mean wound tracks, what are you talking about?
Basically, the path of the bullet and the injuries that it caused.
And were you able to determine a cause of death in this case for Mr. Jones?
Yes.
What does that term mean, cause of death?
The cause of death is the initiating event that led to the death. So in natural disease, you have a heart attack that's probably due from hypertension or atherosclerosis. In this case, gunshot wounds was the approximate cause of death.
And were you able to determine a manner of death?
Yes.
Now, what does that term signify, manner of death?
So the manner of death is a categorization that we do of deaths based on circumstances, injuries, and it's used for statistical purposes for the state.
Okay. That's something like vital statistics would look at?
Yes.
So we talked about a few earlier. If someone dies in a motor vehicle accident, would their body be transported for autopsy
Yes.
and for determination of cause and manner?
Yes.
Suicide, you mentioned?
Yes.
Homicide,
Yes.
okay. What other types of deaths would be covered?
Any non-natural deaths, we have a Florida statute that tells us what the medical examiner takes jurisdiction over.
Okay. Would that include something like an overdose on drugs?
Yes.
In this case, what was the manner of Mr. Jones' death?
Homicide.
Did you document, starting with your external examination, wounds that you observed on the body?
Yes.
Now, were some of those wounds obvious to you to be gunshot wounds?
Yes.
Were there other wounds that may have involved some type of projectile, but you weren't sure if they were actual penetrations through the body?
Yes.
Were those documented
Yes.
photographically as well as the gunshot wounds?
Yes.
So I'm going to start with States 32A. Was there a gunshot wound to the victim's upper right chest?
Yes.
I'm publishing States 32A. Would that be in this location where my finger's pointing?
Yes.
Okay. Was there another wound over here to the upper right arm?
Yes.
What type of wound was that?
That is a graze wound.
And are graze wounds something that you would associate to gunfire or a gunshot?
Yes.
States 32B. Now, this is a label placed over it and some type of a measure below it. Can you tell us what those are?
So I number the gunshot wounds photographically with a number, and the scale is basically the measurements and the case number of the case.
All right, so this is the unique file number assigned to Mr. Jones' file?
Correct.
The numbering, is that something that you number different numbers for each of the gunshot wounds?
Yes.
Do they signify anything other than distinguishing them from each other?
Yeah, it's just arbitrary.
So it's not a sequencing of infliction or anything like that?
Correct.
This wound, this gunshot wound, is that an entry wound or an exit wound?
It's an entry wound.
All right. And was there an exit component to that wound?
No.
States 32C, is that just a more close-up photograph of that wound?
Yes.
And we can see the graze wound and better view of that on the right upper arm. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes.
And then States 32D, just a close-up of that wound?
Yes.
This wound to the victim's upper right chest, once you open the body in your internal examination, you indicated earlier that you would have looked at the wound track.
Yes.
Can you tell the jurors the wound track and what internal structures were affected by that projectile?
So this gunshot wound hit the lungs, the heart, and the aorta, and then it went through and embedded into the left side of his chest. The jacket of the bullet also split off, and that was recovered in the right side of his chest, so near to the entrance wound.
So the other part of that projectile, you said the jacket split off. Was there another part of that projectile that was recovered somewhere else in the body?
Yes, the bullet core was retrieved in the left side of the chest, and the jacket was in the right side of the chest.
When x-rays were taken of the body, did you note those projectiles within the body?
Yes.
So I want to ask you, did you recover that projectile in that jacketing?
Yes.
I'm going to show you first of all, and I'm going to move to introduce States 33B, as in boy.
Okay, any objection, Mr. Gonzalez?
No objection.
Mr. Sonardi?
No objection.
Mr. Wise?
No objection.
Mr. Petridis?
No objection.
Admitted.
When that projectile is recovered, do you take it and place it into some type of an envelope or a container?
I do.
The envelope that I'm holding in my hand, does that appear to be the envelope?
Yes.
And when you place it in there, does this envelope, is it pre-marked?
We mark it. We take photographs of the bullet itself or the fragments, and then I stick it into the envelope. We seal it with evidence tape, and then I put my signature on it.
Okay. And well, here, I'm going to go ahead and publish it, Your Honor, publishing 33B.
Okay.
So this writing up here, Office of the Medical Examiner, District 13, with your address, and then these list of items, is that something that's already on the envelope?
Yes.
Okay. So in this instance, do you check off the item as a bullet?
Yes.
And then is there an area where you can place the area of the body that it was recovered from?
Yes.
Here it's left chest wall, like you told us earlier.
Yes.
And is there a label that is affixed to an envelope?
Yes.
And does it have your name on it
It does.
and the date?
Yes.
So, and then the file number,
Yes.
and then your initials?
Yes.
Okay. You said that that bullet passed through the lungs, the heart, and the aorta.
Yes.
Can you tell the jurors what the aorta is?
It's the largest blood vessel in the body. It basically comes off the heart and supplies the entire circulation.
Approximately how large is this artery?
It depends. With natural disease, it can get up to 5 centimeters. But typically in a healthy person, it's about the size of a water hose.
Were you able to determine the direction of the wound path in this case, that wound path?
Yes.
And what was the direction of that wound path?
The wound path was directed from right to left, front to back, and downward.
Downward, okay. And is that in reference to an anatomical position that you use in forensic pathology?
Yes, the anatomical position is basically the body staring at you with the palms outward.
So before we move to any other gunshot wounds, I want to go back to that grazing wound that we discussed earlier on the upper right arm. So I'm going to publish states 32K as in kilo. And this has been labeled with the number 6, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, does this grazing wound have two components to it, two parallel parts to it?
Yes.
Do you have any opinions or about how that was caused? That there are two separate, distinct wounds?
It's possible that the bullet core and the jacket separated beforehand.
And grazing, is that where the wound or the bullet would pass through the skin and maybe the subcutaneous tissue below the skin?
Yes, they're very superficial wounds.
So this does not, the projectile that caused that wound did not enter into any internal structures other than really what's visible here?
Yes.
States 32L, is that just a close-up?
It is.
Okay. So the wound to the right, upper right chest, do you have an opinion as to whether there is a relationship between, let me just show a photograph that shows both and come back to this. This is 32B as in Bravo. Do you have an opinion as to any relationship that may exist between these two wounds?
It's possible that they're from the same projectile because they're in the same kind of level.
Okay. Well, I can come back to this, but the terminus of that wound you said is in the left chest wall.
Yes.
So towards the front of the chest.
More to the terminal side of it.
Oh, okay. So over here, underneath
Yeah.
the armpit?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But this would be, if that is true, if those two wounds are caused by the same projectile, that bullet's going to be coming in, as far as the side of the body, at a pretty steep trajectory, I guess?
It could.
Or angle, let's just say angle.
Yes.
Okay. Would that be, those two wounds, would that be consistent with being caused, if it was caused by the same projectile, with a person who is turning or blading themselves to a person who's shooting at them?
That's a possible scenario.
Now, you indicated earlier that you were documenting defects that you found on the body because when you were doing your external examination, having not already done the internal examination because you didn't know, you had to document everything, basically. Is that a fair statement, or you wanted to?
Yes.
So I'm going to move to States 32M and just show you this little dot wound that's on the top of the right hand. Through later examination of the body, did you determine what caused that or what may have caused that?
It's likely that it's from shrapnel.
Did that move very deep into the body?
No.
Okay. And when you say shrapnel, taking into account the circumstances that the victim was found in, could that have been shrapnel from a projectile?
Yes.
Could it have been from glass from the windshield?
It could.
Okay. States 32O, also from the right hand, was there a couple of other injuries to the hand that appeared to be possibly from shrapnel?
Yes.
Same thing, it could have been caused by splitting or portions of the projectile or from the automotive glass?
Yes.
Now, you had indicated before I move on that you had found a jacketing in that wound to the right chest near the entry wound.
Yes.
Now, severance of the jacket from the underlying core of the bullet, is that something that will be seen in forensic pathology with gunshot wounds?
It's not common, but I've seen it before.
So I'm going to show you, I'm going to publish States 33D. I don't know if I've already moved to introduce this. So the state would tender States 33D as in Delta for introduction into evidence.
33B?
D is in Delta.
That's not in yet. Any objection?
No objection.
Mr.
No
S-
objection. No objection. I have no objection.
Okay, very good, admitted.
And doctor, that jacket that you recovered from near the entry wound to the right chest, same procedure as far as collecting it, placing it into the envelope?
Yes.
And here we see you've selected jacket instead of bullet. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then indicated where it was recovered from?
Yes.
Same process with the labeling?
Same process.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Did Mr. Jones, did you determine he had suffered gunshot wounds, entry wounds to his back?
Yes.
States 32E, publishing. Does this photograph show those wounds?
Yes.
And like the wound to the front of the body, have you labeled them or placed a label on it?
Yes.
And would it be at number 3 and 4?
Yes, those are 2 gunshot entrance wounds.
Okay. The label at 5, was that also determined to be an injury caused by shrapnel?
Yes.
Did it also have the same kind of characteristic where it didn't go deep into the body?
Correct.
And above that, it states number, or not states number, your label number 2. Same thing, was that an injury you later determined to be caused by shrapnel?
Yes.
Now, again, you're labeling these during your external examination because you don't know if those are something that extend deeper into the body.
Yes. I haven't performed the internal examination yet, so any hole I see, I number it, and then try to find the wound tract. For number 2 and number 5, I did not find a wound tract.
With any of the wounds that we've looked at so far, and would you also consider these to be superficial?
I would consider 2 and 5 to be superficial, but 3 and 4 are not.
Right. I'm sorry. The wounds caused by shrapnel, same as the ones on the hand, you would consider them to be superficial?
Yes.
The wound to the top of the hand we've already talked about. I believe we've seen 3 injuries to the top of the right hand that you've indicated were probably caused by shrapnel. Same with 5 and 2 on the back. Were you able to recover anything from those wounds?
No.
So let's move on to, I guess we'll just start with your wound number 4 that you've labeled. States 32F. Is that the same wounds, just a more close-up photograph?
Yes.
And is this wound an entry wound?
Yes.
Does it have an exit to it?
No.
Is this also at number 3 an entry wound?
Yes.
And does it have an exit component?
No.
Were you able to determine, and we'll start with 4, what internal structures the projectile that caused that entry wound affected inside of the body, where it passed through?
It hit the left kidney and then embedded into the soft tissue around the aorta.
And at wound number 3, were you able to determine a wound track?
Yes.
And what internal structures were affected?
That also hit the left kidney, and then it went up and hit the left lung.
Were you able to determine for wound, well, let me go back to it. For wound your label number 4, and just so we have an idea, let me back out here. These are to his mid-lower back,
Yeah, the left side of his back.
and this would be the area of the spine?
Yes.
Okay. Were you able to determine a direction of that wound path in number 4?
Yes.
What was the direction?
It is from left to right, back to front, and upward.
Upward.
Yes.
Okay, so upward through the body.
Correct.
So if that wound was coming through my body, it would be going like this and then upward?
Yes.
Up through, okay. Did wound that you've labeled number 3, did it have a similar direction?
It had the same direction.
Left to right, upward, back to front?
Yes.
Would that type of direction and wound track, would that be consistent with being inflicted to someone who is either bent over or is on top of something with the front of their body facing down?
It's possible.
Would it be consistent with that?
Yes.
That position?
Yes.
And did you recover projectiles or jacketing or anything in these wound tracks?
Yes.
So let's start with number 4. You indicated that that ended up lodging near the aorta, was that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what was recovered there near the aorta?
Fragments of the bullet core.
And is that the left, would that be considered the, the pleural cavity, or is that from the other wound tract?
That's from the other wound tract.
So your wound marked number 3 would have terminated where?
In the left pleural cavity.
The left pleural cavity. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to move for admission of 33A as an alpha.
Any objection? Mr. Gonzalez?
No objection.
Mr. Sonardi?
No objection.
Mr. Wise?
No
Mr. Bolt?
No objection.
Okay, admitted.
Publishing, is this the envelope that that item was placed in?
Yes.
And you have checked off fragments in this case?
Yes.
And again, same process as far as labeling?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Were all of the recovered projectiles in this case ultimately turned over to the law enforcement agency that was conducting the investigation?
Yes.
Is there anything about the gunshot wounds and the shrapnel wounds that we've looked at so far that would be inconsistent with these projectiles having passed through automobile glass before striking the victim?
They would all be consistent with an intermediary object.
Now, you've told us the cause of death in this case being gunshot wounds. Can you speak to the actual mechanism of death, what actually occurs in the body after an infliction of these kind of wounds?
Yes. So he had a hole in his heart from the bullet, and that would drop your blood pressure. And when you don't have any blood pressure, you can't pump blood to the brain. And without blood to the brain and oxygen, the brain starts to die, and you go unconscious. So that's one mechanism. The other mechanism is the bleeding itself. You can't stop the bleeding, and you basically exsanguinate. You lose all your blood and you die.
Does that loss of blood, does it affect the brain?
Yes.
In what way?
Again, lack of oxygen from the loss of blood.
Does loss of consciousness, does that occur somewhere perimortem around the time of death?
Yes.
Do you expect that to occur before death in most cases?
Within minutes, he'd go unconscious and be brain dead, and then he'd keep bleeding, and so he would also die from blood loss.
Okay. After infliction of these wounds, if the victim was noted by witnesses to be unconscious within 30 seconds or so, would that be consistent with your findings?
Yes.
I want to go back to the wound to the victim's right chest. You said that went through his lung, his heart, and his aorta.
Yes.
How did you find blood inside of that wound or near that wound that you noted?
Yeah, there was blood in the chest cavities, and of course the blood from the wound track.
Okay. Did you measure that? Were you able to measure that blood?
Yes.
Can you advise the jury of how much blood we're talking about just from that wound?
I'd have to look at my numbers. I think the left pleural cavity had 1,100 milliliters, and the right had 600, 400. I'd have to have my report in front of me.
Would it be fair to say close to 2 liters?
Yes.
How many total liters are in an adult male normally?
About 5.
5 total liters of blood in your body at any time.
Yes.
Okay. So that's, would it be fair to say, a significant amount of the total blood volume
It is.
from the one wound?
Yes.
How about the wounds to the back that terminated near the carotid artery, and I believe the other one you said terminated near the front of the body?
Sorry?
Didn't one of them terminate in the pleural cavity and one terminated near the aorta?
Yes.
Not the carotid, I'm sorry, the aorta, my mistake. Did both of those ones, did you find collected blood?
Just blood from the track itself.
From the track itself, okay. So you noted earlier that when you all opened the body bag, and is that a bag that the body is transported in?
Yes.
That you located a projectile within the body bag?
Yes.
And, Your Honor, I'm going to move to introduce States 33C, as in Charlie.
Okay, any objection, Mr. Gonzalez?
No objection.
Mr. Sonardi?
No objection.
Mr. Wise?
No objection.
Mr. Bolt?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, admitted.
Moving to publish. Does that appear to be the projectile in its package?
Yes.
And did you note on this package that it was a bullet from the body bag?
Yes.
So I want to walk through with you some other wounds and photographs of them. This is States 32P, as in Peter. Is this a wound to the, I guess, the interior or the top of the victim's left elbow area of his left arm?
Yes.
This wound here?
Yes.
And what type of wound is that?
It's a sharp force injury.
Could that have been caused by shrapnel?
Yes,
Do you believe it was in this case?
I do.
And was that a wound inflicted peri-mortem around the time of death?
Yes.
States 32 Q is in convex. Is that just a close-up of that wound?
It is.
And the depth of the wound is reflected pretty much in that photograph?
It is.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
States 32. X is an X-ray. Looking at this area here in the palm of the victim's right hand, what type of wound is that?
It's a shrapnel wound.
32Y, is that a close-up of that wound?
It is.
Same thing, could have been caused by bullet, shrapnel, or glass.
Could be.
States 32, 32Z is in zebra. In this photograph, obviously this is the decedent's lower body, the legs. Is that fair?
Yes.
Of what it depicts? Okay. There's some items here. Is this the sheet that the victim was removed onto at the scene? Or is this something that he's put onto at the medical examiner's office?
It's from the scene.
From the scene. So that is, he has moved into the body bag with that sheet?
Yes.
So now I'm going to show you a close-up of that item at 32 double A. Is this the bullet fragment or the bullet that was located with fragments
Yes.
inside of the body bag?
Yes.
Okay. States 32 double B. Is this a white shirt that the victim was wearing?
Yes.
And do you see with the background presented underneath that defects in the shirt that would be consistent with the bullet wounds?
Yes.
And is this the front of the shirt?
Yes.
So would this wound and the wound to its left be consistent with the grazing wound and the entry wound to the right upper chest?
Yes.
When I say wound, the defect to the shirt.
Yes.
States 32 double G is in golf. Now we've moved it to the back of the shirt. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do we see, again, defects in the back consistent with the two gunshot wounds, shrapnel wound?
Yes.
States 32 double K is in kilo. Do you recognize that as the socks that the victim was wearing?
Yes.
And is there two defects or holes in the sock that are near each other in the bottom of the sock?
Yes.
Publishing states 32S. Was there wounds to the lower right leg that appear to be associated to those holes?
Yes.
And again, are those shrapnel wounds?
Yes.
As far as the depth of the wound, that is reflected in the photograph?
Yes.
So basically breaking the skin, ripping the skin, that's about it?
Yes.
Exposing the subcutaneous tissue?
Yes.
States 32, V is in Victor. Is this just another shrapnel wound that was on the victim's leg?
Yes.
States 32 double P is in Peter. These were there was a fragment located near the right leg. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And was that fragment, as well as the other fragments when they were removed from the body and the bullets and the jackets that we talked about, you indicated very earlier in your examination that, here today, not your autopsy examination, that when they're pulled out, you mark this and label it, the envelope it's going to go into, then you photograph it
Yes.
before placing it in the envelope?
Yes.
Is that what you're doing here in this photograph?
Yes.
When you were conducting the examination of the victim and you x-rayed the victim's body in the very beginning before doing your external examination, did you note a metallic object in his left leg, in the lower leg?
Yes.
And did you end up examining that area and removing a projectile or some fragment from that part of his leg?
Yes. And
did you document that in your report?
I did.
What kind of wound or what was that?
It was a bullet fragment.
Okay. And was it associated to a wound that had been inflicted peri-mortem in this case?
No.
Was it associated to flesh above it or part of the body that had been healed over, a healed over wound?
Yes.
And that wound, would that be consistent with the victim having suffered an associated gunshot wound or projectile or fragment wound approximately 9 months before?
It's possible.
When individuals suffer gunshot wounds and they survive, is it common in some instances that the projectiles are left in the body?
Yes.
And what would be reasons for that?
They didn't hit any major structures, so there's really no point to resect them.
So I'm going to show you states 32 double S as in Sierra. Is this the projectile you recovered from the victim's left leg from that historical wound?
Yes.
And did you characterize it as a historical wound, or how did you characterize it in your report?
Remote.
Remote wound. Okay. Remote meaning sometime before the time of death.
Yes.
Or you tell me, what does it stand for?
Basically, from a period before his death.
Okay. States 32 double X. Do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph? I mean, if you want me to zoom in on any of these envelopes, I will.
I recognize them.
Okay. And are these just items that were collected throughout the body?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this one on the upper left, it indicates fragments from the left kidney.
Yes.
Okay. Was that associated to that wound 3 or 4 on the back?
Yes.
And then next to it is the left chest wall. That would have been the bullet that was recovered at the terminus of the entry wound to the right chest?
Yes. That's the bullet from the left chest, so that's actually the bullet core.
That's right, at the end of the wound path?
Yes.
Okay, this indicates peri-aortic tissue, and you have fragments in that area.
Yes.
Do you remember what wound that was associated to?
That was associated with gunshot wound C.
To the right chest, the entry wound?
No,
Okay.
from one of the shots in the back.
Okay. So just so we know, you labeled them during the process of the external examination as 1, 2, and 3, but in your report, you labeled them with letters?
Correct.
And that's the wound C you're talking about on the back?
Yes.
And then we see the fragments we looked at from the area where the sock is.
Yes.
They were recovered in his sock.
Yes.
And then a jacket recovered from the right chest, where he spoke about that. Fragments from the left pleural cavity. That's
Yes.
associated to one of the entry wounds to the back.
Yes.
And then from the body bag. So going to your envelope marked peri-aortic, am I saying that right?
Yes.
Peri-aortic tissue, fragments, just a photograph of the fragments before you put them in the envelope?
Yes.
States 32 triple C is in Charlie. Fragments from the left kidney. Again, you're photographing the fragment before you put it in the envelope.
Yes, all the projectile and their fragments are photographed.
And is this where you documented photographically the collection of the bullet or projectile from the left chest wall?
Yes.
All right. And states 32 triple G, and that was states 32 triple F and 32 triple G. Is that a close-up of that projectile?
Yes.
And there's an associated fragment.
Yes.
Going to the wounds to the back, you've documented the collection in this photograph of the projectile recovered from the left pleural cavity.
Yes.
States 32 triple K. Is that just a close-up of that?
Yes.
States 32 triple M, documenting the projectile you recovered from the right chest. Or, I'm
Yes.
sorry, the jacketing from the right chest.
Correct.
And this would be near the entry wound to the right chest.
Yes.
And you've marked off jacket on this, so I want to look at this. This is 32 triple N. Is that a close-up of that item?
Yes.
States 32 triple O. Is this the item placed face down, for lack of a better way of phrasing it?
Yes.
And we can see in this photograph, this open space here. Is that where the core of the bullet would have been before separation?
Yes.
I have one moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Doctor, I want to ask you a question, hypothetical question of you. Taking into account what you viewed at the crime scene, the position of the victim's body, and let me just ask you about that. Do you recall the victim being found straddled over the center console with his head, chest, upper body in the back seat,
Yes.
and face down,
Yes.
with his hip area and maybe his behind up in the air on top of the center console? Does
Yes.
that sound right? Okay. Taking into account that position and the direction of the wound paths, especially the ones in the back, and then also taking into account this dynamic between the upper right arm and the chest, that possibility being caused by the same projectile. If the victim had been seated in the front passenger seat of his Dodge Charger and multiple gunmen appeared in front of that vehicle and opened fire, directing fire at a perpendicular straight through the windshield towards him, and the victim seeing his attackers and seeing what's going on, turned in his seat, blading himself to the shooters, and then started to dive over the console seeking cover to try to avoid being shot into the back seat. Would that scenario be consistent with the wounds and your findings in this case?
It would.
Would it be consistent with him suffering the wound to his right arm, the entry wound to his right chest with the bullet being found underneath his armpit on the other side of his body as he was turning to move over the center console?
It would be consistent.
I just need one more moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
May we approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
T-Mo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you went through anything like that. That's cool. That's so cool.
Davion, you want a water in here, bud?
No, I want a cigarette. I want to let them out, please.
What kind of water was it?
No, regular, Dr. Tuck. You got me for real?
Yeah, I walked in this gas station. I swear to God.
Bro, you can't, bro. You can't.
He didn't let me take your shoes off long time.
I ain't got nothing on.
Man, you ain't got socks on. Boy, ain't got socks on.
Yeah, y'all was lit some shit. I was in that big sleep, man. Oh, and we right down the street from the 7-Eleven too.
Yeah, I'm
That's where we go, man.
Before you go to jail, I'll get you one back on.
My shit hurt, man. My shit big.
You want rescue?
I don't care.
All right.
I'll make it. I ain't got nothing on, bro.
You wouldn't believe the shit that came in here. You feel me? I seen a gun come in here, believe it or not.
Oh, man.
On my mama.
You know what? Now you got me nervous. Now I'm going to search you again.
Come on, man. I'm dead ass, son. I ain't got shit, son. I'm dead ass. I ain't got
Come to
shit.
jail, man. I don't take no chances like that.
There you go.
Trust me, I wouldn't be telling that guy that if I had something. Just like,
Well, most people that do have something don't tell us they do have something. Worst way
All right.
it is. Yeah.
We'll get you said
plastic tip, what, regular.
Plastic regular.
I'm gonna get me a one wood tip.
For real, you gonna give me a cigarette? You gonna give me a black amount?
I can't smoke it in here, but whenever you go out, I'll have it for you.
Come on, man.
I swear, hey, I promise.
You ain't gonna say something you ain't gonna do, man.
For sure. Hey, I got a piss too, though. I can piss in the cup. Oh, that's crazy. came. Niggas love to start the beef and play victim, but the people in our business fuck the world and all they feelings. And I'm trying my hardest, so close to falling. If it's in my heart, it's on my face. Getting kinda hard to hide my pain. Last night I had a dream. The day finally came, but they stopped saying my motherfucking name. Niggas love to start the beef. Niggas love to start the beef and play victim, but the people in our business fuck the world and all they feelings. The people in our business fuck the world and all they feelings. I didn't have time to put on the fucking car, bro. Niggas in that bitch sleep that good. Well, at least I bust that bitch.
Plastic,
Plastic.
original.
Original.
Anything to drink?
No, I'm good.
You don't want, it don't have to be water. I can't buy you beer or nothing, but you want something else?
No,
Like
I'm good.
Pepsi or anything?
I'm straight.
Alright, give us just a second. As soon as you get off the phone, you're gonna take me to the bathroom, alright?
Alright.
I'm gonna run and get that real quick.
Appreciate it, bro. Oh, bro, I've been moving straight. Been on this bitch the whole time, man. Went to them, came back. Went to them, came back. How the fuck, bro? Like, that kind of shit easy. That kind of trying to throw me a signal. I know that hood ain't gonna call me no crime. Stop my whole motherfucking self. What the fuck? And that big booty dead on the free. That shit killed. And that bitch sleeping. All I heard was Jan, this is Jan nigga sharing off this nigga. AJ got work, so she getting in the hole. The fuck? I'm gonna talk to her. That crack kept saying, like, screw you gonna talk to Adam, you gonna talk to Adam, you gonna talk to Adam. That nigga said Adam because he already know that's motherfucker. That shit crazy. Wait, the gospel hear this shit, bro. That shit just broke my heart, bro. That shit broke my heart, bro. I just said this morning, man, I gotta stop having this nigga come down, bro. You gonna be the reason. You out this nigga stealing my name on some whole shit. I think niggas gonna try to shut the man. Fuck, bro. Nobody understand my soul. Take the soul out of my breath, I still be the loudest nigga. Oh, bro, that shit crazy, bro. Y'all got those socks on the food. Man, I had to come out of this mediocre ass packet. I pray with Christ to get my phone. That's what I do. Just got that bitch forever. Don't let that hoe get my shit. Please. Please don't let baby get my shit. And they got a nigga, man. This shit crazy. They finna be out in the blog. They finna go up like this shit. Oh, this nigga got caught in the bitch. I've been doing my thing. How the fuck you talking about? I ain't gotta be in Mexico. The best way to hide from a white man is in plain sight. Fuck you talking about? All those niggas look alike, dirty ass. The best place to hide from a white man is in plain sight. All those niggas look alike. Who you standing? What you talking about, man? Oh, you remember Airbnb I've been in? 6 Airbnb, 7 hotel rooms, been in bitches' houses. Something told me to take off and leave that bitch last night. I was around there with my I was still right there, bro. I paid, bro. Knowing I was supposed to take off, bro. Them bitch had Amazon van, police van. Man, I'm like, the fuck, he got an Amazon police van. Last night I had a dream. The day finally came. What these fuck niggas kept saying my name. Turn up, chest out, man. It's bro. Kind of hit me in my shit, bro. That shit crazy. When you want public know that, though. Tell the public how you hit me on my shit, man. I'm talking about oh, too. I'm talking about straight elbow, boom. Nah, beat the shit out of that guy. They talking about Sean Green ass trying to get through that. Nigga, green them motherfucker, man. They tell out everybody, man. Fuck it. And that shit gonna fuck my people up, man. It's gonna bring some of my people rejoice. That pussy ass shit, but it's gonna fuck a lot of my people up, man. People will root for not this motherfucker, man. This shit crazy. Fuck, man. Come on, easy. That shit wild, bro. That's what it does. That shit wild, bro. That's what it is, man. Man, come take me to the power room, man. Man, come take me to the power room. I ain't got nothing to talk about. I don't know nothing. That wasn't even me, so I don't know nothing to tell y'all, you feel me? I don't know nothing. I can't tell y'all nothing. That wasn't me. You feel me? Like, I don't even know why y'all got me here. I don't know why y'all got me here. I gotta go to the jail, calling this free phone and hear everybody crying for me, man. Like, I should have got that, did it then, man. Like, on the road. The whole took out my shit. Bro, that shit crazy. So he took my shit out. I'll go get my shit redone, bro. He kept telling me to go, that shit wow. It was sick something, man. I mean, that bitch sleeping good. Straight fire when I watch. This thing ain't even gonna have my black. This curtain ain't even gonna have my black, bro. That shit crazy. As long as you got that black around, bitch, we can walk to the jailhouse. I'll walk to the jailhouse with handcuffs on me. Take off, man. Harry wanted to shoot him. And if they let the dog off from me, I would have beat the dog ass, bro. I don't want to guess the talking about the dog, bro, because I'm going to beat the dog ass. I'm telling you, I'm not going to let them dog bite me. Real shit, bro. Just told his ass this morning. Just told, bro. Man, I gotta keep that young nigga away from me, bro. That ain't going to get me around in jail, bro. Look. You wildin' doing shit. Man, you wildin', bro. Like, oh! My granddad on ICU, man. My granddad in ICU. This shit crazy, bro. This shit. The day after my birthday, my shit Friday, 4 days from my birthday, bro. Like, everybody outside and we got outside. They seen it, I know it. Oh, that shit, oh, we got him. Bitch, I been moving around, man. Kill him, man. Nobody never wanted to drop no loads, man. I would kill him. And I feel like you probably want to try something about it because they more than my birthday coming up. You feel me? Like,
All right, you got to be.
yeah, I appreciate it.
Is that all right?
Came out fucking side, bro. I thought he was seeing that, though. The Amazon truck went right there, bro. Casper popped up on some petty shit. Who locked up? Is it Casper or is it Allen? That guy said Allen. For some shit he did with a girl. Now y'all saying David. Somebody told me, bro. See, I'm pissing off on nobody. I don't know what the fuck, man. That shit wild as fuck, bro. Put that with the traffic talk. Who's number sweet?
Can you pause just for 1 second? I just want to reiterate to everyone sitting in this courtroom, you better not be taking audio or video recordings of anything that happened in here, because somebody did, and someone posted it online. And if I find out who did it, you're going to be in big trouble. Okay, go ahead. Because this is all being monitored by security, so we can see everything that happens.
Vehicle.
Yes, sir.
And did you see a cell phone in the interior of the vehicle, maybe near the shifter or near the center console?
Yes, sir.
And was the cell phone open?
Yes, sir.
And was it running?
Yes, sir.
Was it running on an app?
Yes, sir.
Was that the Maps app?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, we would tender States 64 and States 143 for admission into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, Mr. Sonardi?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Wise?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Petridis? Okay, they'll be admitted.
Officer, does that appear to be an image from video recorded by your body-worn camera that morning?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to go ahead and publish this, Your Honor. And is that one of the officers in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering the hotel at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you were after you had entered the hotel parking lot and before you stopped the car, it appeared in the camera or view of the camera that you were doing something with your radio.
Yes, sir.
What were you doing with the radio?
I was trying to give out to the officers on scene that the car was parking up. Unfortunately, my battery was dead, so nothing was transmitted.
Your Honor, we're going to publish 143, states 143.
Okay.
Officer, does that appear to be a video recording from a camera mounted on the hotel
Yes, sir.
of the same incident?
Yes, sir.
Same date and time?
Yes, sir.
Did it appear to you that Mr. Murphy may have started to put his hand up and then turned and ran?
Honestly, I was possibly, but he just escalated so quickly that I was more focused on whether a gun was going to be produced or anything like that.
So we saw another officer pull up not too long.
Yes, sir.
That would have been after you pursued on foot.
Yes, sir.
At some point after Mr. Murphy was taken into custody, did you ask him what his name was?
Yes, sir.
What was his response?
He said no, and then when I asked for his name again, he said, "You already knew my name."
You already know my name. Okay. Did Lieutenant Cheek, after Mr. Murphy was taken into custody, did he contact law enforcement here at the Tampa Police Department to notify the agency down here that he had been detained, taken into custody?
If I believe so, yes.
After Mr. Murphy was taken into custody, at some point later in the morning, did you respond to a location inside of the hotel?
Yes, sir.
And were there day shift officers on scene at that point?
Yes, sir.
And were they staged around one of the hotel room doors?
Yes, sir.
And did you assist them in making contact with someone in that room?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, did a young woman come out of the room?
Yes, sir.
And was she later identified as Charmaine Steiger?
Yes, sir.
And was she later escorted to a patrol vehicle in the parking lot of the hotel?
Yes, sir.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'll tender the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, can I use the assistance of Mr. Lane with regard to the video?
Assistance of who?
Mr.
Yes,
Lane?
yes,
That's
of course. And are you gonna be using the exhibits?
Judge, I am going to be using Exhibit 64. Can we approach briefly?
Yeah. So, the exhibits, once they've been admitted. Come on up.
Specifically about June 23rd of 2024 in the early morning hours. Were you working on that shift?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Where were you assigned approximately around 4 a.m.?
Roughly, we were at the Truth Lounge, which would have been about 48th and Bush Boulevard.
And when you say Truth Lounge, is that Truth 18?
Yes, ma'am.
And what jurisdiction or what county is Truth 18 located in?
It's in Hillsborough County in the city limits of Tampa.
At some point when you were stationed at Truth 18, did you receive a call regarding a hotel, Home to Suites, and the Holiday Inn located on McKinley?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Approximately what time did you receive that phone call?
I believe it was about 4:40 in the morning.
And based on that phone call, what did you do?
They told us that there was basically someone shot. At that point in time, my squad responded priority up to Home to Suites.
And how you're dressed today, is that how you would have been dressed back then in the same type of uniform?
Yes, ma'am.
And what sort of vehicle did you drive back in June of 2024?
At that, I had an unmarked Dodge Charger.
And you said that not only yourself responded to that location, but that your unit did. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I had 6 officers working for me that night, and all of us responded there.
Okay. And were they in different vehicles?
Yes, ma'am.
And were any of those marked Tampa police officer vehicles?
Yes,
Patrol
all of
vehicles?
those were marked.
Lights and sirens?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, before we go to that, what happened at the Home to Suites, I want to ask you, you said you were at Truth 18, is that correct?
That's correct.
When you were at Truth 18, were there any incidences or disturbances at Truth 18 while you were there?
No, ma'am.
Had you had any information that a rapper from Jacksonville was going to be there that night?
At that point in time in the night, no. We knew he was in the area, but not at Truth 18.
Okay. And so there was nothing that was alerted or out of the ordinary, to your knowledge, at Truth 18 while you were there?
No, ma'am. It was just the normal crowd that we were trying to keep control of.
And then after you received that call at 4:40 for shots fired, what did you do at that point?
Like I said, I left the parking lot near Truth 18, proceeded basically westbound on Bush Boulevard and then northbound on 40th Street towards the hotels.
How far is Truth 18 from those hotels, the Home to Suites and the Holiday Inn that are located on McKinley?
I'd say roughly about 3 miles.
How quickly were you able to get to that location?
I don't know, less than 2-3 minutes.
What did you see when you responded to that location?
As I was coming northbound on 40th Street towards Fowler Avenue, I saw a dark, like silver Hyundai coming, that would have been westbound on Fowler Avenue towards 40th Street. At that point in time, the vehicle decided to make a left-hand turn on the 40th Street, drive over the curb, and go into the parking lot.
At that point, did you know anything about that vehicle?
No, ma'am.
What was the information that you received regarding the shots fired call?
Basically, there's just somebody shot in the parking lot.
And
possibly in the hotel.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So when you saw that erratic behavior by that gray or silver Hyundai, what did you do?
I proceeded after that car thinking it would possibly be involved. At that point in time, I still had my lights and sirens on, tried to stop that vehicle. We drove to the south side of Home 2 Suites, then back to the west, and came all the way around near the Holiday Inn and pulled up in the parking lot and finally stopped.
Okay. And what happened when that vehicle finally stopped?
That vehicle stopped. There was a female that got out of the driver's side, a male and a female got out of the passenger side, and they started yelling about helping their friend who was in the vehicle to my right that I noticed that was all shot up.
Okay. And was that the first time that you had noticed that vehicle that had all been shot up?
Yes, ma'am.
And where was that located?
It was basically 10 feet away from where that vehicle stopped to my right.
Okay.
In
And
the
can you
parking lot.
describe, I know that you said that there was a female that was yelling, as well as there were two other individuals. Was that, I think you said another female and a man, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there other units or other agencies that were responding to that location, as well as officers from the Tampa Police Department?
Yes, USF PD showed up.
And what did you do at that point?
At that point, I listened to them. They said, the shots. I looked over at the car, noticed it had bullet holes in it. I went over to the car to check the person inside to see if there was any life or anything I could do for life-saving matters at that point in time. I noticed he was deceased at the time, and then saw a blood trail heading into the Holiday Inn.
And is that the standard protocol to focus on any sort of victims first?
Yes, we concentrate on life-saving efforts first and then go from there.
And can I ask you to describe the jury specifically? You said one victim, is that correct? Was there only one person in the vehicle that had the gunshot on the vehicle?
At that point, there was one subject in the vehicle. It was a male subject. It looked like he was going from the passenger seat into the back seat, and he was laying down like between the center console and towards the back seat.
Was there anyone else in the vehicle or around the vehicle at that time?
At that point, no, all the doors were open and the vehicle was just him.
And you said that there were no signs of life, is that correct, from the individual that was inside the vehicle?
That's correct. He wasn't breathing and there's no pulse.
Okay. And then you said you noticed a blood trail, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, at this time, the state's going to introduce into evidence State's Exhibit 22A through M, as well as 3A through P, and State Exhibit 6A through Q.
Okay, any objection, Mr. Gonzalez?
No objection.
Any objection, Mr. Sonardi?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Wise?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Petratus?
No, Your Honor.
They'll be admitted.
Sergeant Corman, I'm going to direct you to the screen in front of you, and I'm going to start with 6A. Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you describe for the jury what is being depicted in 6A?
The gray vehicle to basically the left of the black Dodge, that's the vehicle I stopped with the doors open. And
This
then
vehicle right here that I'm pointing to in the center?
Yes, ma'am. And then the black Dodge is with the broken out window, and you can see the bullet holes in the front of the windshield.
And where these vehicles are placed, is that where the Dodge vehicle was when you rolled up on the scene following this gray vehicle right here?
Yes, ma'am. I would have been, when I stopped that car, I would have been behind that gray vehicle and then walked up to that vehicle.
And is that exactly where the gray vehicle stopped when it returned back to the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that there were 3 individuals in there, is that correct?
That's correct.
Were those individuals later left with the USF Police Department while you and members from your unit responded to the hotel?
Yes, we proceeded into the hotel because at that point in time, we didn't know if there was an active shooter in the hotel because of the blood trail or what was going on. So I asked USF PD to stand outside with the 3 people that were outside and to secure basically the scene from where the deceased was at.
I'm going to show you 6B, a close-up of that black Dodge Charger. And is that, can you kind of see the individual in the red shirt right there?
Yes, ma'am, that would be the deceased and how he was laying in the vehicle.
And is what you described, is that correct?
Yes,
Kind
ma'am.
of in between the seats.
That is correct.
And then 6E, what's that?
It's the same vehicle with the deceased laying in the vehicle, just from the driver's side.
And then obviously 6F, these doors are open later after a crime scene is there, is that correct?
That is correct. I would have went in the passenger door on the rear side just to check on pulse and see if there's any breathing at that time.
And that's what you did in this case, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And other than check for pulse, would you have disturbed anything else other than to check for signs of life of the victim?
No, ma'am.
After you checked for signs of life, would the car have been secured and protected by Tampa Police Department until crime scene could respond to document everything as it was?
At first, USFPD, because I left them with it, and then
Yes, sir.
then we took over and secured the whole crime scene so nobody else touched it.
And as well as until the medical examiner gets here as well, is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
And I think you said you made some observations of that Dodge Charger. I'm going to show you. Can you describe what's being shown in 6G?
It's just the rear of the Dodge, the busted out windows, and the shattered glass probably from the gunfire.
Did you make any other observations of that vehicle when you first rolled onto it?
No, ma'am. Other than, like I said, the blood trail leaving the car.
And where did that blood trail lead?
Led to the Holiday Inn.
Okay. And I'm going to, I know I previously showed you 3A through P. Was that a depiction of the different trail of blood leading from the car back to the Holiday Inn?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you. Can you tell us what's in 3A?
The Dodge vehicle that the deceased is in is to the left, and then you'll start to see the blood trail leave towards the hotel on the curb.
3B?
Just crime
I'm
scene,
gonna
crime
make-
scene pictures, and then number 1 and number 2 are showing where the trail's starting to go to.
Sergeant, if you need to stand up to point out something to the jury, you can.
Yes, ma'am.
And are they designated by where these yellow cones are then placed by crime scene?
Yes, ma'am. That's crime scene laying those out before they actually take the photos.
And then are close-ups taken so that you can actually see what you were pointing out? Is this what is being depicted in 3C?
That is correct, ma'am. That would have been, they do a farther back shot, and then they take a close-up, and then number 1 is where the first blood started
Is
from the
that-
vehicle. Yes, ma'am.
And then what is in 3D?
That will show, well, you can see the blood trails going up this way, so the droplets that are pointed out heading towards the hotel.
Let me show you the close-up of 3E. Again, can you point it out? Because I think this is a little bit better photo of that.
Yeah, it's a better photo. These are all the blood. And it's a little dried out from what it actually looked like the time that I was there in the morning.
And does crime scene take a photograph so that people can orient where the location of the picture is and then follow it up with a close-up?
Yes, ma'am.
What is being shown in 3F?
That's just going to be the continuation. The number 2 droplet is down this way, and that's towards the hotel. So it's heading up the grass line towards the hotel.
And is that what's indicated with crime scene marker number 3?
Yes, ma'am.
3G?
Same thing. You see the droplets in the bottom corner.
3H?
Then you can see how the droplets are heading from 4 to 5. It's all these little drops that are heading all the way up towards the entrance of the hotel.
And then 3I, is that a close-up of marker number 4?
Yes, ma'am. It shows all the droplets again.
State 3J?
This is on this sidewalk pathway towards the hotel.
3K, another photo to orient where 5 is.
Correct, and the front, you can obviously see the front of the hotel as far as the top end as it goes towards number 6.
Tell us what's in 3L.
See the heavy blood droplets that are continuing towards the front door of the hotel towards number 6. That's the Holiday Inn.
3M.
Is going to be the entryway into the hotel. And the droplets down by 6, and it continues on inside.
3-7.
This is going to be the entryway.
I'm sorry,
into
3N. I apologize.
Will be the entryway into the hotel. You see the blood on the doors as they go in.
3O.
Yeah, it's just the entryway to the hotel.
And then 3P.
Be the entry into the lobby way to the hotel.
Now, you said after you determined that the victim was not breathing and there were no signs of life that you and your unit responded to that hotel because of the blood trail. Is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
How many people were with you at that moment?
Would have been 4 to 5.
And those were officers all with Tampa Police Department, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And was there a USF police officer who was tasked with staying there with those 3 individuals that were in the gray car that identified themselves as being with the victim?
Yes, ma'am. I believe it was a USF sergeant that I talked to that was on scene.
And so tell us what happened as you are responding up to that hotel.
Like I said, my officers went into the hotel right away because we didn't know what was actually going on inside the hotel after we saw the blood trail. They proceeded in, noticed the heavy blood trail inside, and there was a blood trail that goes all the way around the corner towards room 117 and also to the elevators.
As you are proceeding through that hallway, do you continue to see all of those blood droplets that are also on the floor inside of the hotel?
Yes, ma'am.
And are there individuals, guests that are in that area?
There's guests in the whole hotel, yes.
Are some of the guests coming out of the doorways or asking what's going on?
At that time in the morning, no. We didn't have anybody coming out other than when we knocked on certain doors to see if anything was going on inside the rooms.
And why were you knocking on certain doors?
Like 117 actually had a fingerprint on the door, so we thought one of the people that were injured possibly were in that room, so we knocked on that room, and those residents came to the door and said that there was nobody in there that was injured. So we figured that they proceeded towards the towards the elevator and went up the elevator, so one of the floors.
Did you guys give me the photos back of the inside? Okay, I got them. Those are it. Judge, at this time, we would introduce into evidence State Exhibit 4A through S.
Any objection, Mr. Gonzalez?
No objection.
Mr. Sonardi?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Wise?
Here.
Mr. Petratus? Admitted.
Sergeant Portman, can you tell us what is in 4A? Let me unzoom out.
Yeah, this is going to be the lobby. That's the front desk for the hotel. That's the blood trail leading around to the hallway towards the elevators.
And this is a hotel, the Holiday Inn, correct? Not the Home to Suites?
Yes, the Holiday Inn, correct.
And then 4B?
This is going to be entering into the hallway. After, down towards the elevators, are going to be down to the right.
4C?
It's same part, it's just more of that hallway heading towards the elevators.
4D?
It's the hallway wall that's towards the elevators.
4E?
That's going to be the one room off to the left is 117 that we actually checked on where all the blood's going to see if that's where the blood was actually at before you get to the actual elevators.
And you said that you did check to see whether or not anyone was injured in that particular room. Is that correct, 117?
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
And was there anyone that was located in that area?
No, ma'am. There was people in there, but there was nobody injured in there.
And when you say people, guests of the hotel?
Yes, ma'am.
No one bleeding when you made contact with them?
There was nobody bleeding inside that room.
And then 4F?
It's just going to be in front of 117 and 119.
4G?
That's going to be right in front of 119 of that room.
And then 4H?
Is going to be the handle that I was talking about with the blood and the fingerprint on it.
And that's what alerted you to 117, is that correct?
That's correct. Like somebody tried that door handle, either trying to get away or trying to get help, one of the two.
4I?
This is going to be where the elevators start and the blood trail in front of the elevators.
4J?
That's going to be inside, I believe, the left-hand elevator that was in the last picture. And that's the inside of the elevator.
And did units then proceed to the other floors?
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, we actually believe because of all the blood and everything going on, there could be a possible active shooter. So we were clearing the whole hotel. I had officers going on every single floor. And then two of my officers, Officer Conaway and Officer Gale, actually got to the third floor and found two subjects on the ground actually bleeding heavily. And we're giving them medical assistance.
And what is in 4K? I don't think I asked you that yet.
That's this elevator one.
And then 4L?
It's going to be the blood on what floor, but it looks like they're trying to hit floor 4.
4M?
Is more of the same. It's the blood that was inside the elevator at the time.
And you said that two of your officers proceeded to the third floor, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's when they came into contact with who?
They came in contact with these two subjects that were actually shot and injured.
And did you yourself proceed up to that floor?
I did eventually just to check on them to see if they needed anything else. And then once I found out what they needed, started to get fire rescue in there to give medical attention.
And then is 4N, is that a photo of the third floor?
Yes, ma'am. I'd be coming out of the elevator, and that's where the subjects were at, is right there.
And when you checked on them, were those two subjects, did they appear to be, other than having been shot, were they still breathing and alive?
From my knowledge, yes, ma'am.
What did you do at that point?
After noticing that the hotel was basically safe or secure at that point in time, more officers started arriving on scene. I went outside to become the scene organizer, started getting crime scene tape up, having officers sit on every single floor in case people started coming out to basically secure the crime scene, and notifying our chain of command and getting the homicide unit to start heading to the scene.
And is that standard procedure that once a individual has been determined to be deceased, gunshot wounds, that the homicide unit would then take over the investigation?
If somebody is deceased on scene, yes, ma'am.
And you said that you did call homicide out there, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
I also want to show you some of these pictures. I think you already looked at them. 2A, what is that a photograph of?
That's going to be the Holiday Inn where everything occurred.
And the ones that we have talked about, that blood trail, I don't think we saw the whole entire building, but is that the entryway where the blood trail was leading up to?
Yes, ma'am. That would be the entryway and then that sidewalk leading back to the car.
And can you tell us where is the Holiday Inn in relation to Home to Suites?
They're on the same block. Anybody knows Fowler and 40th? They're right there on either the southwest corner of that intersection. And the Home 2 Suites is sitting more towards 40th Street, and then the Holiday Inn is more on Fowler Avenue.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 2D. Do you see this photographic? Again, you can see the Holiday Inn. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. The Holiday Inn is off to the left.
And you can see the La Quinta. Is that correct?
Correct.
And there is a roadway here. What roadway is there?
That would be Fowler Avenue.
Okay. And can you kind of orient us, like where you would go in this photograph to go back to where the Home 2 Suites is, where you originally came from?
The Home 2 Suites is going to be back over here, because 40th Street's this way, and then Fowler connects. So the Home 2 Suites is going to be here, and then the Holiday Inn is here.
Ms. Jordan, you say 2D?
Yes, Judge, this is 2D.
Has States 2 been admitted yet?
Judge, I believe I introduced,
No, Judge.
I didn't, I apologize, Judge. We would introduce into evidence States 2A through M.
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Sonardi?
No objection.
Mr. Wise? Mr. Petratus? Admitted?
I'm going to show you 2G. Again, is that a close-up of that same Holiday Inn?
Yes, ma'am.
And again, were there guests that were staying at that hotel when this incident occurred?
Yes, there was, ma'am.
At some point, did the manager want to try to clean up the crime scene?
Yeah, when I first entered the hotel, he was coming around the corner with a bunch of towels, and I had to tell him to stop.
Direct him that he was not to touch any of the evidence in that hallway, is that correct, or in
Yes.
the hotel?
Yes, ma'am. He wanted to clean up for the morning so that people coming downstairs didn't see it.
Did you do anything else in furtherance of this investigation?
Other than securing the other crime scenes in the morning, because we had multiple scenes going on, there was other people at the hospital, at Advent Health, there was another car on Fowler Avenue. It's just getting officers to those locations to secure those locations also.
So as a supervisor and a sergeant that was involved in this investigation, are you getting calls and briefed about other incidences that are connected to this?
Yes, ma'am.
So I first want to ask you about some of the other individuals at the hospital. Were you getting briefed on that there were other people that had received, or another person that had received a gunshot wound related to this case?
Yes, ma'am. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office actually called into our dispatch and informed me there was another gunshot wound victim at Advent Hospital, and they had also stopped a individual there with a gun.
And is that because that Advent Hospital is in Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office jurisdiction?
Yes, ma'am.
And so based on that, they called Tampa Police Department because there was a connection to your investigation, is that correct?
That is correct.
Based on that, did you send officers from Tampa Police Department to respond to Advent Hospital so that contact could be made with that individual?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
And was that individual later determined to be Camilla Bentley?
I believe so, yes.
And you said that there was also, as part of that investigation, there was a vehicle, is that correct, that was also connected to the shooting that occurred where the victim was shot there at the Home 2 Suites and Holiday Inn area?
I can't say it was connected because I didn't do that part of the investigation, but there was a supposedly vehicle that was abandoned on like Fowler Avenue area or Fletcher.
You were
near the
alerted
hospital.
to that, is that
Yeah,
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And as a result, did officers either from the Tampa Police Department, homicide unit, or others respond from your office to that location?
Yes, ma'am, they did.
Your Honor, may I have one moment?
Yes?
Your Honor, at this time, I'm sorry, Anna, did you say something? Your Honor, at this time, we pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez?
Good afternoon, Sergeant.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sergeant, you were surveilling, or your guys, your squad, part of your squad, was surveilling Truth 18 because it had been kind of a problem location, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Was this a normal surveillance activity for you guys on weekends or certain days?
I'll say it wasn't a surveillance. It was more or less trying to keep people out of certain parking lots because they would show up and cause problems and drinking in the lots and causing noise complaints that the citizens were complaining about. So we were addressing those concerns because we actually had trespass authorizations on those parking lots, so we're keeping those people out.
Right. Some of the units, though, were not actually in the parking lot, right, present and observable. Some of them were in different locations.
That's fair, yes.
Okay. And you also, at that time or during that point in time, had received an email from the intelligence section that Charles Jones, Julio Foolio, was in town in Tampa, correct?
Correct.
And as a result of that, what is MDT?
It's just our message system on our computers.
Were you also being updated or provided intelligence or additional communications as it relates to Mr. Jones and potentially his whereabouts or where he was intending to go or where he had been?
Yes.
So the department, does everybody get those communications, the MDT communications?
Yes. Well, it just depends who's working that night. Because the MDT is a system that goes back from dispatchers to officers.
Right.
So-
And everybody has access to it who's on duty at that particular time.
As long as their call sign's being used to talk. Because there's different ways of communicating on there. Either you can do a broad message to everybody in the department, or you can do individual officers.
Was there also law enforcement that were monitoring his social media activities as well?
One of my officers, Tyler, he actually knew of him and was monitoring it, yeah. It wasn't done by the department.
Do you know whether there were others that were monitoring his social media as well?
Not that I'm aware of.
Could there have been other members, either through Officer Tyler or on their own, or as maybe advised by someone else, that could have been monitoring that social media activity?
There could have been, yes, sir.
I don't have anything further. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sonardi, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Wise, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Petratus, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, state redirect.
Just briefly, Sergeant Portman, is it unusual to receive intelligence from other jurisdictions, for instance, Jacksonville Gang Unit, as to intel if they have any information that known gang members may be in your jurisdiction?
No, ma'am. We get notifications from all kinds of jurisdictions all the time.
And that would just be to put you on alert or notice that something could happen, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And again, when you were stationed at Truth 18, there was nothing unusual or no disturbances happened at that time, is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am. It was a normal crowd that was there all the time.
Did you have any knowledge that Julio Foolio, Charles Jones had been at Truth 18 that night? Did you even know that?
At the time that this happened, no. Didn't
you-
find that out till the next day.
Okay. But while you were there was no indication that him or his group caused any trouble, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
All right. I have nothing further, Judge.
Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sergeant.
Thank
You're
you.
free to go. And Mr. Doherty, please make sure.
First, before you do, just Detective, is this the beginning of that footage that was collected?
It appears so, yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Detectives, does that appear to be the same car that had passed earlier?
Yes, sir.
And then we have a second car.
That's correct.
The first car, the black car, did that end up being a Chevy Impala?
It did, yes, sir.
That became a suspect vehicle in this case.
Yes, sir.
The second car, is that a silver Chevy Cruze?
It is, yes, sir.
And did that become a suspect car in this case?
It did, yes, sir.
And it appears the Cruze just did a three-point turn and turned back around to
That's
head to
correct.
the south?
That's correct, yes, sir.
So would it be fair to say this camera is facing in that same oblique direction as the car we were looking at, so to the northeast,
Yes, sir.
towards the western side of the hotel?
Yes, sir.
The people who just ran by in the videos that were later collected from the hotel, did they appear to be consistent with the shooters
They do, yes, sir.
and how they're dressed?
Yes, sir.
And did they appear to be carrying weapons?
Yes, they did.
Is that the Dodge Charger?
It is.
And again, the two shooters?
Yes, sir.
Now, is this a different camera?
Yes, sir. This is the rear camera, or rear-facing camera.
Is that on the western, northwestern side of the vehicle?
Yes,
Is this a third shooter being reflected?
it is.
Does, in this video, can we see the one of the charging stations?
Yes, we can. Yes, sir.
And does that one appear to be hooked up to the car?
It does. Yes, sir.
Does that appear to be the same person that came by earlier?
It does. Yes, sir.
We saw some white flashing, but then we saw a consistent, persistent flashing. That second flashing, what was that?
I believe the vehicle's actual security system activating with the lights flashing.
In this view, did we see that same third shooter run past both charging stations on the rear of the Tesla?
Yes, sir.
Is that what this camera, where it's mounted and where it's, I guess, recording from?
Yes, sir. Right above the tag.
Is that the same third shooter individual?
It is. Yes, sir.
And we saw him firing a rifle?
Yes, sir.
Is this another camera on the car?
Yes, sir. It's the passenger side camera.
So the Tesla was facing out of the parking spot?
Yes, it was.
Same individual?
Yes, sir.
Is that the headlights of the Charger?
Yes, sir.
Is this the original camera position we were looking at?
It is, yes, sir.
And does it show the flashing lights of the alarm system?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to do 22A through B. Detective, did you and Detective Kirkpatrick also investigate the surveillance video system of the hotel?
Yes, we did, sir.
And were you able to find and locate video recording from around the time of the shooting incident, several minutes before and several minutes after?
Yes, sir.
And did that system contain multiple cameras around the perimeter of the hotel?
It did, yes, sir.
Did you collect video from multiple cameras, both on the eastern side, the western side, the northern side of the home to suites?
Yes, sir.
So have you seen this exhibit in a composite showing multiple camera views around,
Yes, sir.
tracking the vehicles as they enter the parking lot?
That's correct, yes, sir.
All right, Your Honor, we're going to publish States 22A.
Okay.
So if you can assist us with some narration here, is this the Impala entering the parking lot?
It is, yes, sir.
And is it heading now northbound on the eastern side?
It is, yes, sir.
Continuing northbound?
Yes, sir.
Is that vehicle now passing into the northern end of the parking lot?
It is, yes, sir.
And now is that vehicle on the western side of the home to suites,
Yes, sir.
facing south?
Yes, sir.
And it would have just passed the Tesla?
It would have, yes, sir.
Does it appear to now be turning and heading back to the north?
Yes, sir.
And does it do that just to the north of the edge of the southern end of the hotel?
Yes, sir.
Now, this camera, is this on the southern end of the hotel facing south, and then another camera facing southwest?
Yes, sir.
And do we see the Chevy Cruze again?
Yes, we do.
And is it now on the western side of the hotel,
It is.
near the Tesla?
Yes, sir.
And that's, again, the Tesla being worked in with the hotel cameras?
Yes, sir.
Okay, in this composite. The hotel recording system, the cameras, especially the ones showing the portico from both ends, was the timestamp on that determined to be a couple of minutes slow?
Yes, sir. It was 1 minute and 45 seconds slow, I believe.
1 minute and 45 seconds. So to get real time, we would have to add 1 minute and 45 seconds to the time being reflected.
That's correct.
Date was correct?
It was, yes, sir.
At the very top of that video, could you see the Impala parking?
It is, sir, yeah. Backing into a space.
All right, and now the Cruze is leaving.
Yes, sir.
Which direction does the Cruze turn onto 40th McKinley?
Southbound, sir.
That would take it in the direction of the Moffitt Cancer Center down south of there?
Yes.
And this is, again, the Tesla we saw earlier, video
Yes, sir.
from the Tesla? Do we see here the collision between the fleeing Altima
Yes, sir.
and Hyundai? Does it appear that the shooter who was near the tree bumped into the bottom of the tree with his head?
Yes, sir.
Does it appear one of the shooters ran through the patio area?
Yes, sir.
And then came out running past the Tesla?
Yes, sir.
Okay. From the sequence of events, when the third shooter who went behind the Tesla charging stations, when he comes back up and is firing his weapon in rapid fire down the western side of the hotel, does that appear to set off the alarm system on the car there?
We're going to object. The state continue to narrate the video. I think they can ask what the detective saw, but not narrating what the state believes is on the video.
Well, you are leading, so Mr. Harmons, just rephrase your question.
Sure. The alarm system that goes off in the car, does that appear to you to be at a time near the shooter shooting up the west side of the hotel?
It does, yes, sir.
Do you believe there was some association between the two?
I do, sir, yes.
What do you believe happened there?
Just the overpressure and concussion of the shots being fired from a rifle in close proximity to the vehicle would have created enough vibration to trigger an alarm system, similar to like a firework being ignited next to a car that's equipped with an alarm.
Oh, I did, that's fine. I'll tender the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez,
No objection. Excuse me. No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Sonardi,
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Wise,
Thank you, Your Honor.
you may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, Detective.
Morning.
Detective, I want to just go back over a few of the things we heard about this morning. A lot of evidence was collected at the crime scene.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Among those things, numerous 9mm casings, correct?
Yes, sir.
I think we heard 31.
Yes, sir.
All right. And 29 of those, I believe you said, were turned over to ATF for further processing, correct?
30 of them.
30 of them.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
And when these casings and any of these items are collected, it's typically done by crime scene technicians.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
And you oversee that. Right?
That's correct.
But you want to ensure that all of these items are kept in the natural state they're in when they're found so that they can be preserved for testing later.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things ATF was able to do, and one of the reasons it was turned over to them, these casings, is they have a process to actually test these casings for potential DNA.
That's correct.
And then they also can do other, forensic testing to try to potentially match the casings to each other and to a gun.
Yes, sir.
Correct. And that was the reason that one of them also was kept for TPD, not for the DNA testing, but for brass track snibin comparison, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's the process, or one of the processes by which casings can be compared to one another.
Yes, sir.
You also collected, I think we heard a lot about this, but several projectiles, correct?
Yes, sir.
And not just whole projectiles. For instance, I'll show you what is in evidence is 9C. I'd like to show you what's already in evidence is 9C. Is that a projectile?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that one is, it looks to be in pretty well intact. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And some of them, for instance, 9G would be fragments from a projectile, correct?
Yes, sir.
One of the important characteristics that you might be looking for in these fragments, we can see it somewhat, for instance, in this one, 9T, would be these striations in the projectile, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's rifling?
Usually rifling, could be the crimping at the edge, depends on where it is on it itself, but generally rifling, yes, sir.
And rifling, and this may have been covered this morning, but rifling, those are the marks that are left behind on a projectile from the barrel that the projectile travels through, right?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And that can be important in an investigation like this because firearms examiners can compare those riflings to other projectiles and to potentially other firearms to determine what caliber the projectile may be and what firearm might have fired it, correct?
Yes, sir.
So any projectiles that you find are pretty critical pieces of evidence, correct?
Yes, depending on the quality of the evidence, but yes.
Sure.
It's crucial to find them.
Some may be so broken up they can't be of use, right?
That's correct.
Some, especially any that have rifling left on them, can potentially be pretty important.
Yes, sir.
Right. And then, I don't know if this was covered, but you didn't only collect projectiles from the scene of the shooting, but I believe the next day you actually also collected several projectiles from the Dodge Charger as well, correct?
Fragments, but yes, sir.
Fragments. And it was, what, maybe about 8 or so fragments collected from the Dodge Charger?
I'd have to refer to my report, but it sounds about right.
You listed them in your report, right?
I did,
Each specific one?
Yes, sir.
And again, those are pretty important because these are projectiles coming from the shooter who likely would have killed Mr. Jones, right?
That's correct.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Okay, Mr. Petridis? Okay, redirect, Mr. Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor. Detective, counsel for Mr. Gathright just brought up NIBIN, so I want to talk to you about that. NIBIN is a process where shell casings are put into a system, and there's a screening process to see if they may be related to other shell casings that have been collected in other crimes or scenes.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
But even if they're associated, that is simply a screening process, correct?
Yes, sir. The bullet or the fragment or actually in this case the casing for NIBIN that's being analyzed would eventually have to go to a crime laboratory for an actual microscopic comparison.
So that's just an investigative tool that may lead to evidence that you would then submit to a firearms examiner or analyst at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
Yeah, it's just for investigative leads only.
Okay. And then you would base your findings or your investigation on the findings of that firearm analyst, correct?
That's correct.
And you have submitted evidence to the firearms lab at FDLE in the past?
I have, yes, sir.
How many times?
More than I can count, especially in 5 years in homicide and 2 years, almost 2 years in the gun unit, a lot.
Okay, a lot. And do you rely upon their findings?
Yes.
Okay. And you've been asked about the importance of projectiles and items located in crime scenes like this from firearms as to whether they are potentially important or critical evidence or and you responded, it depends on the quality of the item, correct?
That's correct.
It depends on whether it has characteristics that lend itself to comparison.
That's correct.
So if you have an item like the ones we saw where you have a flattened piece of lead with no rifling on it and no striations on it, that is of zero quality to a firearms analyst, isn't it?
That's correct.
Those cannot be compared to any rifle or to anything.
That's correct.
It's only items that touch the inside of the barrel where the rifling is that actually have imparted rifling where you could potentially compare it.
Yes, sir. We usually send off more whole pieces, whole bullets, whole projectiles that we can get that have limited deformities to them, because we know that that's
Right.
best quality evidence.
Now, in this scene, you had 31 shell casings, correct?
Yes, sir, 31.
All right. So at least 31 9mm projectiles were fired, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And if those 9mm projectiles were recovered, you would not expect them to match an AR rifle that is chambered in .300 blackout or 5.56, right?
No,
Different caliber class, right?
that's correct.
Okay. And if, like you were talking about, a high-powered, high-pressure, the same pressure that set off the alarm of the Tesla, if that high-powered round passes through automotive glass or sheet metal and fragments, like the rounds or the articles that you found inside of or may have collected from the Charger, and they fragment away from the jacket, or even the jacket is separated and it fragments, you can have items that have no quality or maybe some quality, right?
Yeah.
All right. All good, very good.
Okay, very good. Everyone have a seat. All right, Ms. Finkelstein, your next witness is?
Gathright.
All right, Mr. Gathright, please stand up and raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, have a seat and you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your name for the record, sir, and spell your name for our court reporter.
My name's Sean Gathright, SEANGATHRIGHT.
What's your date of birth, sir?
I was born on October 20th, 2005.
Mr. Gathright, you've heard people speak here today on your behalf and yesterday, and I know that you wanted to address the court and the jury. So I would like to ask you what you want the jury to know.
I just want to address the court today, and, you know, I'm not here to dispute anything. I'm just here to be a man and take responsibility and express my feelings about was, you know, this whole situation. You know, that's what I plan on doing.
Okay. And how do you feel? What?
I feel very remorseful, you know. This is a terrible situation. It's been a traumatic experience, you know.
Let me ask you this. So, how old were you when you were arrested?
I was 18 years old.
We heard that you had started some college, obviously probably didn't get very far, right?
Right.
What have you done since you've been in jail? Is there programs? Are there things that you can do there?
So, you know, I've gotten into programs. I've also, you know, I grew up, you know, in church and, you know, in a Christian household. So I refocused my, you know, life to Christ, and, you know, I've taken a lot of religious programs. I've read the Bible from cover to cover. I've tried to, you know, share some word, and, you know, we have prayer circles in the jail and stuff like that. I've led a couple, you know, prayer circles, and I've tried to, you know, kids around my age or, you know, younger, you know, since I'm 20 years old now, that when you turn 18, you know, you go to the adult pods and stuff like that. So if I see somebody who I see, you know, has a lot of potential and has a chance to keep them from, you know, basically being able to be corrected at this opportunity and not come back, you know, I try to take them under my wing. As you see, I have a lot of resources and a lot of family that love me, and they've even, you know, asked me, like, hey, is there anybody in there who doesn't have somebody like that, who, could we send them some money, like, anything like that. So I've tried to, be a vessel for God to pour over my blessings into those around me.
We heard from Mr. Benoska, who said that, in prison that there is opportunities at times to be a mentor or do orientations and peer-to-peer things like that. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
Of course, I definitely want to, try my absolute best to course correct anybody from falling down a path that they don't have to take, especially the youth. I feel like that's my calling that God has put on my heart to, be a mentor to the youth and be a positive influence in this world.
What about those relationships? Like you said, you have a lot of people. Are you able to maintain those relationships now?
Yes, so, everybody who I, maintain a relationship with wasn't able to all be here today or, even testify. But, I talk to them daily, weekly, bi-weekly. I cherish my supporters very deeply. And I want to maintain a relationship with them for the rest of my life.
And I know, we're not going to talk about the case itself, right? But you said that you were taking accountability, you felt remorseful. Tell us what you mean by that and what statement you want to make.
To the victim's family, I want to send my deepest condolences and I understand that it's hard losing a child, a best friend, a brother, a cousin. And for that, I just cannot say sorry enough. I feel terrible about the situation, but I'm a firm believer that God can use anything for good that the devil wanted for bad. And so I am grateful for the people I've met, for the lessons that I've learned, for just this experience in general, because it's one that I'll never forget, and it's going to shape the rest of my life.
Sounds like there's that saying, it's kind of cheesy, but you make lemons out of lemonade or whatever.
Lemonade out of lemons.
Somehow. I obviously don't make lemonade, but it sounds to me like you are going to try and make the best of a bad situation. Does that sound about right?
Of course.
And are you going to continue to do that?
Of course. I'm going to try to, continue a humble life, righteous life, try to do the right things at all times, and
Will you apprise yourself? We've heard about some courses and programs and things that you can get involved with to stay busy in prison. Is that something that you plan to do?
Yeah, so hearing Raul's testimony was, the first glimpse that I have of, what prison it could be like. I want to stay as busy as possible, stay away from bad apples. I want to keep a job, get into programs, try to get into any vocational things I can do, try to, keep my record clean to, go to the best incentivized things and have visits with my family. And, I just want to just stay out the way, I just want to make everything, peaceful as can be.
So even knowing that you're not getting out of prison, you want to make the best of your stay there?
Of course. Who wouldn't? If you're going to be somewhere for the rest of your life, why would you make your life a living hell?
And you're young, right? You're 20?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay, state.
You would agree with me that Charles Jones was young too, wasn't he?
Relatively young, yes, sir.
26, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what the evidence showed us, correct? You were sitting here watching that, correct? The evidence that came in over the last several weeks?
I was right there.
Yeah. And you want to take accountability now, correct? You want to take accountability now that this jury has found you guilty, correct?
Yes, sir.
Weeks after we went through a trial. Is that your testimony?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
You indicated this was a traumatic experience. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's what you just testified to, correct?
That's what I said.
We just have one moment, Your Honor. I'm trying to get the all-know.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Stage 25C, you remember Gino Norris?
Yes, sir.
You remember him? He was also really young when this happened, wasn't he?
I didn't know how old he was.
Early 20s, 22. Would that surprise you?
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Gino Norris, who's not a gang member, who's Charles Jones' friend from the time they're children.
That's the legal basis. Okay, come on up, counsel.
C, Xavier Edwards. 25C, Gino Norris. And you saw the autopsy photos of Charles Jones. My question to you is, after you and your friends inflicted that carnage on June 23rd, and as you were running States 2059C, this is actually you running to shoot them, but when you were running back past that Tesla, were you feeling a lot of trauma at that point?
It was so long ago, I try to not remember anything from that night.
Were you remorseful as you were running back with that AR-15 in your hands?
Like I said, I try to remember nothing from that night.
Was it traumatic to you as you went back to the car with that AR-15? Was it still smoking? Was it still warm in your hands from firing it?
Sustain the objection.
Were you feeling remorse as you were getting back into the Impala?
Like I said, I just try to focus on today and moving forward.
So the next day, that Impala, that was your car. You drove that around, right? It was your mom's, but you drove that car, correct?
Yes, sir. It was my mother's car.
All right. And that was the car you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in, correct?
Your Honor, I'm going to object beyond the scope.
I'm working to a point, Your Honor.
Okay, why don't we just get there?
All right. So this car, this Impala that you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in with Mr. Chance and Miss Andrews, the one that you drove in tandem with the Silver Cruise, the same car that you utilized to drive the assault team, the shooting team, which you were a part of that night. That same car that you drove around Tampa in the early morning hours for several hours, tracking, stalking, and hunting Charles Jones and his entourage.
Sustain.
That same Impala, you drove that to Polk County the next day, and you dropped it at your grandmother's house, right? The same grandmother who came in here last night and testified for you, correct?
Overruled. Go ahead. You can answer that question.
Isn't that correct?
What is the question?
You dropped the Impala, the one that had all of these shooters in it, the one that was utilized in this murder. that was such a vital cog in this plan. You dropped it at your grandmother's house in Auburndale, didn't you?
I'm here to testify about today.
Are you going to answer that question, or are you going to avoid it? Because that's not what I asked what you were doing here today. I think we all understand what you're here to do today, what you're testifying about. I'm asking you specifically about your remorse. Were you remorseful when you dropped that car off and left it at your grandmother's house in Auburndale?
I did go to my grandmother's house.
Were you feeling remorse when you hugged her and got into the 4Runner and left her with the Impala after you wiped it down?
Sir, I'm just telling you that today I would like to express my remorse to the family and to the court.
I understand what you're trying to do today. I'm asking you, since you're trying to convince this jury that you're remorseful, were you feeling remorse that next day or later that day?
I don't remember these days in detail, how I was feeling, what I was thinking.
What about later that night when you went to Orlando? Were you feeling remorse when you were out partying at Club Parole, celebrating what you had done that day?
That was my sister's birthday party.
What did you feel any remorse while you were drinking Don Julio tequila and putting that in your video and throwing gang signs?
I'm here to testify about today, sir. We've all seen the evidence. We've all reviewed everything.
Mr. Chance, it's not time for you now to make speeches. You've politely answered your counsel's questions. Can you not answer the state's questions? Is there something about my question you don't understand?
I was getting to
I'm sorry, Mr. Gathright. I called you Mr. Chance. Excuse me.
I was getting to my answer. Like I said, I've seen all the evidence.
Well, we've all seen all the evidence.
Yes,
right?
sir. That's true.
And after all that evidence came in, and this jury based their true verdict on that, convicting you, now you're taking accountability? Is that correct?
Sustain the objection. I think the question on the table was remorse about an Orlando. Okay?
It is, Your Honor.
You just need to answer that question.
So I'm going to ask you very specifically, okay? So try to focus with a laser beam here, Mr. Gathright. Were you feeling remorse when you were in Club Parley in Orlando drinking Don Julio? Were you feeling remorse for what you did earlier that day?
I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking.
Were you feeling remorse when you got pulled over in the 4Runner a couple of days later by the police?
I don't remember. I was nervous. I mean, I had never been involved in any police
Were you feeling remorse when you were unloading the Impala and putting all of that evidence into the 4Runner? Did you feel remorse?
Sir, I told you I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking in those days.
Mr. Gathright, you have led, you would agree with me, an extremely privileged life, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
You would agree with that, correct?
I would.
You've had a loving mother, correct?
Yes, sir.
A loving sister, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've had 2 wonderful grandmothers, correct?
Yes, sir.
You would agree with me, right?
I couldn't deny that.
One of which probably, I'm assuming, sacrificed and paid for you to go to that private school, that preparatory school, correct?
It wasn't paid. It was a magnet program, so I had to apply, and it was a lottery system.
It was a lottery system. Okay, so it was a magnet.
Yes, sir.
All right. She supported you going there, did she not?
Everybody did.
Gave you open use of her house, welcomed you, treated you, and parented you, basically, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
Took care of you when your parents were deployed, correct?
Yes, sir. At the time, I was living with my grandmother. Both of my parents had been either retired or out of the military. I was just living there more so. I needed a change of scenery, and my relationship with my father wasn't sustainable.
Okay. This is when you're in Oxford with your grandmother.
Yes, sir.
The nice lady we saw earlier came in here.
Yes, sir.
The one that has supported you and spoke so lovingly about you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you went to this preparatory school, and whether you got in there through a lottery or not, you would agree with me, not everybody gets to go to a school like that, correct?
The lottery school, the magnet school I went to was in middle school when I was living in Jacksonville. The school I went to in Oxford, was just a public high school.
A public high school?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
my mistake. So you went to that preparatory school in Jacksonville.
Yes, sir.
But again, that school was not something that every kid gets to go to, right?
No, sir.
Not every kid gets to have a counselor and a role model like Mr. Edwards, correct?
No, sir. I was very blessed.
And not many children get to fly in planes with their stepfather, correct?
No, sir.
And fly around in Asia and get to see islands off the coast of Okinawa, correct?
No, sir. I was
And go on
very
camp-
blessed.
You are very blessed, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And not every kid gets to go to Scotland, right?
No, sir.
Or Ireland,
No, sir.
or Paris,
No, sir.
or London,
No, sir.
or Spain,
No, sir.
Cape Town, or Johannesburg, or both in South Africa.
Cape Town.
Cape Town, beautiful city, right? You got to go experience that when you were growing up, correct?
I did.
Because you had such loving people around you supporting you, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, your grandmother went with you on that trip, did she not? Or not on that one, but on the ones to
several
Europe,
trips,
correct?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And we heard you got to meet up with your sister in one of those trips, correct?
I did. I had the privilege.
So you always had someone there taking care of you, and you always had good, strong male role models, including people at your grandmother's church and your stepfather, Mr. Harrington, correct?
I had male role models in my life growing up, but in my more formative years, more so 16 to 18, I didn't. I did not have a relationship with my father, and the male role models that came and testified, they were present but not intimately as whenever I was younger, maybe middle school years. But when I turned around 16 to 18, it was the females that actually had that caregiving and, you know, nurturing relationship with me. But
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
yes,
So,
sir. Towards the more recent years, I didn't have that one-on-one and very close relationship with, you know, those male role models in my life. You know, you heard my stepfather say, you know, after the divorce.
I did hear that, Mr. Chance. Let me stop you,
Mr.
okay,
Gathright.
and we'll go back to my question. I'm sorry?
Mr. Gathright.
I'm sorry, I keep calling you that, Mr. Gathright. Let me go back to what you said earlier. Between 16 and 18, you didn't have a male role model? Is that what you're telling the jury?
I'm not saying I didn't have any male role models, but day to day, you know, young men need strong.
That's not what I
influence.
asked. I asked if you had a male role model between 16 and 18.
I had a figure that I could go to, but not intimately.
Mr. Edwards, right?
Yes, sir.
He had stayed in contact with you even when you graduated into high school, correct?
Yes, sir. We definitely maintained a relationship, but
And he
it
seemed to
wasn't.
be pretty enthusiastic about that, right?
Yes, sir.
In
Yes.
fact, you went on a cruise with him at some point, did you not?
Yeah, when I was younger, yes. We had
Okay.
a very close relationship.
And then from what you're saying, if I understand it right, the females, I'm assuming you're talking about your grandmothers and your mom stepped into the gap?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was grandmother's, mother's, sister. Those
So
are my
let me
girls.
see if I got this right. When you were being brought up, and you were being brought up by a mother who was enlisted or an officer in the military, an officer, wasn't she?
I don't know exactly what her rank is. I know she was a sergeant.
But in the Marine Corps.
Yes, sir. She was in the Marine Corps.
All right. And then you had a stepfather who was in the Air Force, right?
Yeah, he was.
From the time you were 3 all the way up to when they divorced in 2020.
Yes, sir.
All right. They taught you right from wrong, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we
Of
heard
course.
that from your
Yes, sir.
grandmother,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah. Of course. Yes, sir.
Miss Lyle, she told us the same thing.
Right.
They brought you up in the church. They taught you about the 10 Commandments. They taught you about right from wrong. Did they not?
They did.
All right. And they were excellent role models about living your life in a disciplined, honest, and right way, correct? And being law-abiding, correct?
They really didn't have to worry about me. You know,
Well, let me just answer my question. Would you agree with what I'm telling you? That they were excellent role models of
Yeah.
how to live a moral life?
Yes, sir. They definitely instilled the foundation.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Okay, redirect.
Mr. Gathright, despite living, I think I did that. Despite having what you called a blessed upbringing, you still find yourself here today, right?
Unfortunately.
Where you had lived, we heard about Mississippi, and was Jacksonville different than where you had lived previously?
Jacksonville was unlike any other city that I've lived in or visited or any other country. The cultures, the neighborhoods, the people, it's completely different.
And how old were you when you kind of started experiencing that culture shock?
So when I moved to Jacksonville, I was about 9 or 10 years old. I didn't really know much about what the streets were, quote unquote, the streets were. It was more whenever I got to high school and I wanted to leave the magnet school that I was at. I wanted to be at more of a neighborhood school to be around the people I grew up with, because at the magnet school it's 30, 45 minutes away. I didn't really know anybody. I wasn't as close as the people who I grew up with. So around high school, that's when I started hearing about, and seeing, the different things like, the drugs and people dying and, stuff like that. And then I was caught completely off guard, but I was curious, like, what is this? I'm listening to the music, like, I was just, like, caught off guard. Like, I'd never experienced something like that, especially living in Japan and, living in different states around the world. I mean, or in the country, it didn't have what Jacksonville had.
And we've heard from a lot of people that knew you, and I think it's been a pretty consistent theme that you were mature and, smart and interested in things. But you were still, what, how old around that time?
I was 14, 15, I definitely would consider myself to be smart and, mature for my age, but
Still curious?
I was still a young boy, I still am a young man.
You think you were kind of impressionable?
I would characterize myself as, at times being naive, gullible, impressionable, and yeah.
And so despite that upbringing, are you finding yourself, you're in a different culture now, but you still want to be as successful as you can?
Yeah, so being in the jail, I'm by myself, especially in a city so far away. I don't know anybody, so I took this time to focus back in on myself and just get back to the basics, what I know, and without anybody being in my ear or influencing me, I've cut out the noise, there's not many distractions in jail, it's the same thing every day. So I started to work out and, programs, try to educate myself more, plan, stuff like that. Everybody asks themselves, or everybody asks God for things, what we want what we want God to do for us. But a lot of the times we don't ask what God wants from us. And so I've asked God that question, what do you want from me? I'm asking all these things from you. What do you want from me? And he told me that he's calling me, like, I feel like my calling, or what he told me, was to be there for the youth, serve the youth, keep them from going down similar paths, because there's a better way. And the streets is not the way. The streets are not the way.
Even having everything, trips and privilege and church and grandmas, and you still can find yourself going down a wrong path, right?
Objection, leading.
Sustained.
And you feel that that's your calling?
Yes, I want.
Objection, non-responsive.
Well, I think it's more asked and answered, but you can go ahead and answer. Just yes or no. Just answer yes or no. Do you
What
feel
was-
that you're calling?
Just what you were describing.
Yes, I do. I would like to.
Well,
Objection,
no.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. You just gotta wait for a question, okay, Mr. Gathright?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions.